Chosen one, December 21st is a very big day. Please listen. If these words have found you, it is because something deep within you is already awake, already listening, already remembering. December 21st is not just another date passing on a calendar. It stands like a doorway in time, a moment when many feel an inner pressure, a quiet pull, or a sudden clarity they cannot explain. This day has echoed through history, myth, and inner knowing as a point of alignment, a pause between what was and what is about to unfold. For the chosen one, December 21st feels heavier, slower, more meaningful. It is a day that magnifies awareness, reveals truth, and asks you to stand fully present with who you are becoming. Something shifts here, not always loudly, not always visibly, but unmistakably for those who are paying attention. Before we go any further, stay with this message until the very end, because each part builds on what comes before it. And write your warmest wishes in the comments, and include the number 144 as a symbol of alignment, intention, and shared energy, allowing this moment to become a quiet signal sent outward into the universe, a single focused act of intention that marks this chapter of transformation. Now, chosen one, press the hype button like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's start. December 21st carries the feeling of a threshold. It is a moment when light and darkness appear to stand in balance, when the external world slows and the internal world becomes louder. For many chosen ones, this date does not bring instant fireworks or dramatic events. Instead, it brings recognition. You may notice patterns suddenly making sense, past struggles revealing their purpose, or old versions of yourself no longer fitting the person you are now. There is often a sense of shedding beliefs, fears, attachments that once felt permanent. December 21st acts like a mirror, reflecting back what has been hidden beneath survival, routine, and noise. Those who are sensitive to energy often describe this time as dense yet clear. It can feel emotionally intense without a single obvious reason. Memories resurface. Questions return. But alongside this, there is a strange calm, as if something inside you knows that whatever ends here must end so something more aligned can begin. This is not about forcing change. It is about allowing truth to surface. The chosen one does not chase this day. They recognize it when it arrives. December 21st is also deeply connected to cycles. Nature itself slows, rests, recalibrates. The chosen one mirrors this process. You may feel called to withdraw slightly, to observe rather than act, to listen rather than speak. This is not weakness or stagnation. It is preparation. Stillness before movement. Clarity before decision. Many realizations that emerge now will guide choices made later, even months ahead. This day plants seeds that take time to grow. For some, December 21st brings an unmistakable sense of responsibility, not to the world in a dramatic sense, but to the self. You may feel less willing to betray your own values, less tolerant of environments that drain you, less interested in pretending. The chosen one begins to understand that alignment is not about being perfect, but about being honest. This honesty can feel uncomfortable at first. It may lead to endings, distance, or difficult conversations, but it also leads to freedom. This day often highlights contrast. You may clearly see what supports your growth and what quietly blocks it. Old distractions lose their appeal. Old fears lose their authority. What once felt important may suddenly feel empty, while something subtle and quiet begins to matter more. December 21st does not demand action. It offers insight. What you do with that insight is a choice that unfolds over time. Many chosen ones report heightened intuition around this period. Thoughts arrive fully formed. Answers appear without effort. You may feel guided without knowing why. Trust this. December 21st sharpens inner perception. It reminds you that you have always carried a compass within you, even when you ignored it. This is a day that rewards listening, not rushing. It is also important to understand that December 21st is not a finish line. It is not a promise that everything suddenly becomes easy. It is a marker, a moment of recognition, a point where the path behind you and the path ahead briefly come into view at the same time. You may realize how far you have already come, even if the journey felt slow or painful. You may also realize that the road forward asks for courage, patience, and trust. For the chosen one, this day can feel deeply personal. While others go about their routines unaware, you may feel like something invisible is happening just beneath the surface of reality. This can be isolating if you try to explain it to those who are not ready to hear it. Not everyone is meant to understand your experience. December 21st teaches discernment, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to share energy and when to protect it. There is also a reminder here: you are not late. Whatever you feel you should have become by now, whatever timeline you think you missed, dissolves under the awareness this day brings. The chosen one learns that timing is not measured by age or achievement, but by readiness. December 21st affirms that what is unfolding within you is unfolding exactly when it must. As this day approaches or passes, pay attention to your inner responses rather than external signs. Dreams, emotions, sudden clarity, or even discomfort all carry information. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be proven. December 21st is less about doing and more about seeing. Seeing yourself clearly. Seeing the patterns clearly. Seeing what can no longer continue. This is a moment to stand quietly in your own awareness and acknowledge that you are changing. Not into someone new, but into someone more true. The chosen one does not seek validation on this day. They seek alignment. And alignment, once felt, is impossible to forget. This is why December 21st matters. Not because the world declares it important, but because something inside you recognizes it as a turning point. Whether subtle or profound, the shift is real for those who are awake enough to feel it. And once you feel it, you cannot return to unknowing. As December 21st settles into awareness, the chosen one begins to notice something subtle but undeniable. Time feels different. Moments stretch or compress. The past no longer feels distant, and the future no longer feels abstract. There is a sense that everything is happening now, converging into a single point of understanding. This is not confusion, it is integration. Experiences you once kept separate, pain and growth, loss and strength, fear and wisdom, begin to weave together into a clearer narrative. December 21st does not add new chapters to your story. It reveals how the chapters were always connected. This realization can feel grounding and unsettling at the same time. Grounding, because it brings meaning to what once felt random. Unsettling, because it removes excuses. The chosen one sees that many delays were not caused by fate or circumstance alone, but by hesitation, self-doubt, or waiting for permission that was never required. December 21st does not judge this awareness. It simply illuminates it. And illumination changes everything. There is often a quiet recalibration of identity around this time. You may notice that labels you once used no longer fit comfortably. Roles you played to survive or belong begin to feel heavy. The chosen one starts to sense that their value is not derived from performance, approval, or productivity. Instead, worth becomes something intrinsic, steady, unshakable, and no longer negotiable. This shift alone can alter how you move through relationships, work, and personal decisions. December 21st also highlights energetic boundaries. You may become acutely aware of what drains you versus what nourishes you. Certain conversations feel exhausting. Certain environments feel misaligned. At the same time, moments of solitude may feel deeply restorative rather than lonely. The chosen one learns that protecting energy is not selfish. It is necessary. This understanding often arrives without drama, simply as a calm refusal to continue old patterns. For many, this period brings a sense of internal authority. You may feel less inclined to seek external validation or advice, not because you reject others, but because your inner guidance has become louder and clearer. Decisions that once required overthinking now arrive with a quiet certainty. This does not mean doubt disappears entirely, but doubt no longer controls direction. December 21st strengthens trust in the self. There can also be a resurfacing of unresolved emotions. This is not regression, it is release. Feelings that were buried to keep moving forward may rise to be acknowledged and processed. The chosen one understands that healing is not linear. What returns now does so because you finally have the capacity to hold it without being overwhelmed. December 21st offers closure, not by erasing the past, but by integrating it. Another noticeable shift is in perception of struggle. Challenges no longer feel like punishments, but signals. You may start asking different questions, not "Why is this happening to me?" but "What is this showing me?" This change in perspective transforms obstacles into information. December 21st encourages this lens, reminding the chosen one that resistance often marks the edge of growth. This day also carries a message about patience, not passive waiting, but grounded presence. You may feel less urgency to force outcomes and more willingness to let things unfold. This does not mean ambition fades. It means ambition becomes aligned. The chosen one stops chasing outcomes that require self-betrayal and starts honoring paths that feel steady, even if slower. December 21st can bring clarity around purpose, not as a single mission or title, but as a way of being. You may realize that your impact is felt through presence, integrity, and consistency rather than grand gestures. This understanding relieves pressure. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth through extremes. Simply being aligned becomes enough. There is also an invitation here to release comparison. The chosen one recognizes that no two paths unfold the same way. Measuring your progress against others only obscures your own growth. December 21st gently dissolves this habit, replacing it with appreciation for your unique rhythm. What is meant for you arrives through your timing, not anyone else's. As this awareness deepens, you may notice a subtle strengthening of resolve. You become less flexible around what violates your values and more adaptable around what challenges your comfort. This balance is key. December 21st does not harden the chosen one. It clarifies them. Strength emerges without aggression. Confidence emerges without arrogance. Ultimately, this phase marks a quiet but powerful internal shift. You are no longer becoming aware. You are aware. You are no longer searching. You are recognizing. December 21st acts as a stabilizing force, anchoring insights that may have appeared briefly before but never stayed. Now, they remain. This is not an ending. It is a recalibration point, a moment where the chosen one stands firmly in their own perception and prepares, consciously or not, for what follows. The ground beneath you feels different now, more solid, more honest. And from this ground, every step forward carries greater intention. As the awareness awakened by December 21st continues to settle, the chosen one begins to experience a deepening sense of inner alignment. This is not excitement or emotional intensity, but something quieter and more stable. It feels like standing in the center of yourself, rather than being pulled in multiple directions. Decisions, thoughts, and emotions begin to move in the same direction, instead of competing with one another. December 21st marks the point where inner conflict starts to lose its grip. This alignment often reveals how much energy was previously spent on resistance. Resisting change, resisting truth, resisting the call to grow. The chosen one may recognize that exhaustion in the past was not always caused by workload or responsibility, but by living out of alignment with their deeper knowing. December 21st does not demand immediate correction. It brings awareness, and awareness naturally redirects energy toward what feels right. A noticeable shift during this phase is the relationship with fear. Fear does not disappear, but it changes form. It no longer feels like a wall blocking the path. It feels like a signal at the edge of expansion. The chosen one begins to understand that fear often appears where growth is imminent. December 21st reframes fear from an enemy into information. This alone can change how challenges are approached. There is also a growing sense of emotional maturity. Reactions soften. Triggers lose intensity. Situations that once provoked defensiveness or withdrawal now invite reflection. This does not mean the chosen one tolerates disrespect or misalignment. Instead, responses become measured and intentional. December 21st strengthens the ability to respond rather than react, to choose clarity over chaos. During this time, the chosen one may feel less compelled to explain themselves. The urge to justify choices, emotions, or boundaries fades. This is not indifference. It is self-trust. December 21st reinforces the understanding that not everyone needs to understand your path. Approval becomes optional. Integrity becomes essential. Another subtle change occurs in the perception of silence. Silence no longer feels empty or uncomfortable. It feels rich with information. The chosen one may find themselves drawn to moments of quiet, where insights arise without effort. December 21st amplifies this inner listening. Answers emerge not through searching, but through stillness. There is often a strengthening of intuition during this phase. You may notice an increased ability to sense when something is right or wrong before evidence appears. This is not guesswork. It is pattern recognition refined by experience and awareness. December 21st sharpens this skill, encouraging the chosen one to trust what they perceive even when logic lags behind. This period can also bring clarity around long-standing questions. Issues that once felt complex may suddenly appear simple, not easy, but clear. The chosen one realizes that confusion often came from trying to accommodate too many external expectations. December 21st strips away excess noise, leaving only what truly matters. Relationships may be viewed through a new lens. You may recognize which connections are rooted in growth and which are rooted in habit. This awareness does not always lead to immediate separation, but it does change engagement. The chosen one begins to interact more consciously, offering presence rather than obligation. This shift can subtly transform dynamics without force. There is also an increased respect for personal pacing. The chosen one no longer rushes healing, growth, or understanding. Progress is measured internally rather than externally. December 21st reinforces that depth cannot be hurried. What is real develops at its own rhythm. A sense of grounded confidence may emerge. Not loud, not performative, simply steady. This confidence is rooted in self-awareness rather than achievement. The chosen one understands their strengths and limitations without judgment. December 21st stabilizes this self-perception, making it less vulnerable to external influence. As this phase unfolds, the chosen one may notice a reduction in inner noise. Thoughts become clearer. Worry becomes less persistent. Attention becomes more focused. This mental clarity is not forced. It arises naturally from alignment. December 21st creates the conditions for this clarity by dissolving internal contradiction. This is also a time when values crystallize. You may feel more certain about what you stand for and what you will no longer compromise. This does not lead to rigidity, but to consistency. December 21st encourages living in a way that reflects internal truth rather than external pressure. Ultimately, this stage marks a quiet consolidation of awareness. The insights gained are no longer fleeting. They integrate into daily life, shaping choices, reactions, and priorities. The chosen one moves forward with less internal resistance and more intentional presence. December 21st does not announce this shift to the outside world. It does not require acknowledgement or recognition. It simply anchors the chosen one more deeply into themselves. From this place, every action carries greater coherence, and every step forward feels more deliberate. As the chosen one continues forward after the internal alignment set in motion by December 21st, life begins to respond differently. Not because the external world has suddenly changed, but because perception has. Situations that once felt overwhelming now appear manageable. Challenges still arise, but they no longer feel personal or punishing. December 21st initiates a shift from emotional entanglement to conscious engagement with reality. One of the clearest changes in this phase is how the chosen one handles uncertainty. Instead of seeking constant reassurance or control, there is a growing comfort with not knowing every outcome in advance. This is not passivity, it is trust. December 21st teaches that clarity unfolds step by step, not all at once. The chosen one learns to move forward without needing the full map. There is also a noticeable refinement of focus. Distractions lose their grip. Activities that once consumed time without fulfillment begin to feel hollow. The chosen one becomes more selective, not out of arrogance, but out of respect for their own energy. December 21st reinforces the understanding that attention is one of the most powerful resources you possess. During this stage, the relationship with effort changes. The chosen one realizes that not all effort is equal. Pushing against resistance drains energy, while aligned action generates momentum. December 21st encourages discernment, knowing when to persist and when to pause. This wisdom prevents burnout and preserves clarity. Another important shift is the way meaning is assigned to experiences. Events are no longer immediately labeled as good or bad. Instead, they are observed. Information is gathered. Perspective widens. The chosen one understands that meaning often reveals itself over time. December 21st nurtures this patience, allowing insight to mature rather than forcing conclusions. This phase can also bring a deep sense of responsibility, not as pressure, but as ownership. The chosen one recognizes their role in shaping their internal state, regardless of external conditions. Blame fades. Victimhood dissolves. December 21st anchors the understanding that while not everything is controllable, response always is. You may also notice an increased ability to hold complexity. Contradictions no longer cause confusion. You can acknowledge both strength and vulnerability, confidence and uncertainty, without feeling fragmented. December 21st integrates these aspects, allowing the chosen one to be whole rather than divided. Relationships continue to evolve under this awareness. Communication becomes clearer and more honest. There is less tolerance for passive resentment or unspoken expectations. The chosen one learns to express boundaries calmly and directly. December 21st supports this clarity, reducing the need for conflict by increasing transparency. This stage also highlights the importance of presence. The chosen one becomes more aware of moments as they unfold, rather than constantly projecting into the future or replaying the past. This presence does not eliminate planning or reflection. It grounds them. December 21st reminds you that power exists in the present moment, not in imagined scenarios. There may be a growing sense of internal stability. Emotional highs and lows begin to smooth out. Joy becomes quieter, but more consistent. Peace becomes more accessible. December 21st lays the foundation for this equilibrium by aligning inner values with outer actions. Another subtle change is the reduction of self-judgment. The chosen one becomes less harsh with themselves for perceived mistakes or delays. Growth is seen as a process rather than a performance. December 21st reframes missteps as data, not failure. As this phase continues, the chosen one may feel an increased pull toward authenticity. Pretending, exaggerating, or suppressing truth feels increasingly uncomfortable. There is a desire to live in a way that feels internally congruent. December 21st strengthens this pull, making authenticity not just preferable, but necessary. This is also a period of quiet preparation. Even if nothing dramatic appears to be happening externally, something is consolidating internally. Skills, insights, and resilience are being integrated. December 21st acts as a stabilizing anchor, ensuring that what comes next is built on solid ground. The chosen one does not rush this phase. There is an understanding that stability is not stagnation. It is the platform from which meaningful movement occurs. December 21st marks the transition from internal awakening to embodied awareness, where insight begins to shape reality through consistent, grounded action. As the process set in motion by December 21st continues to unfold, the chosen one begins to notice a deeper sense of embodiment. Awareness is no longer something that exists only in thought or reflection. It becomes lived. Choices align more naturally with inner values, not because of effort, but because misalignment now feels immediately noticeable. December 21st marks the point where insight moves from understanding into action. This phase often brings a clearer relationship with discipline. Discipline no longer feels like punishment or restriction. It feels like self-respect. The chosen one understands that consistency is not about forcing productivity, but about honoring what truly matters. Small, intentional actions begin to carry more weight than grand but inconsistent efforts. December 21st reframes discipline as alignment in motion. There is also a shift in how motivation is experienced. External pressure loses influence. Motivation becomes internally generated, steady, rather than intense. The chosen one no longer waits for inspiration to act. Action itself becomes a source of clarity. December 21st supports this grounded momentum, where progress is quiet but reliable. During this stage, the chosen one may become more comfortable with visibility or with invisibility, depending on what alignment requires. There is less attachment to how actions are perceived. Recognition is no longer the goal. Integrity is. December 21st strengthens the ability to act without needing immediate validation or response. Another important development is emotional resilience. Difficult emotions still arise, but they pass through more fluidly. The chosen one no longer clings to them or resists them. Emotions are experienced as information rather than identity. December 21st deepens this understanding, reducing emotional overwhelm and increasing clarity. This phase can also bring a stronger sense of inner leadership. The chosen one begins to guide themselves with confidence and compassion. Self-talk becomes more constructive. Inner criticism softens. December 21st helps establish an internal voice that is firm but supportive, clear but not harsh. There is often a growing awareness of cause and effect. The chosen one sees more clearly how thoughts, habits, and environments shape experience. This awareness empowers change. December 21st encourages conscious choice, reminding you that small adjustments can create significant shifts over time. Relationships may continue to reorganize. Some deepen through mutual respect and honesty. Others naturally fade as alignment diverges. This is not loss, it is refinement. December 21st supports this process by reducing attachment to what no longer reflects your current state of being. The chosen one may also experience a heightened sense of responsibility toward their own potential, not as pressure, but as recognition. There is an understanding that ignoring inner truth now carries greater discomfort than facing challenge. December 21st removes the comfort of avoidance, replacing it with the clarity of choice. Another noticeable shift is patience with the process. The chosen one no longer demands immediate results. Progress is measured internally by coherence, peace, and integrity, rather than externally. December 21st reinforces trust in gradual unfolding. There is also an increased sensitivity to alignment in daily life. You may notice subtle cues, energy levels, emotional responses, mental clarity that guide decisions. The chosen one learns to read these signals without overanalyzing them. December 21st sharpens this intuitive feedback loop. As this phase matures, confidence becomes quieter and deeper. It does not need to be expressed constantly. It simply exists. The chosen one stands more firmly in who they are, without needing to defend or explain. December 21st stabilizes this confidence by rooting it in self-knowledge rather than outcome. This is a period where life begins to feel more intentional. Days feel less scattered. Effort feels more purposeful. Even rest feels earned rather than guilty. December 21st helps dissolve the false urgency that once drove imbalance. Ultimately, this stage reflects integration. The chosen one is no longer separating inner work from outer life. Awareness informs action. Values inform choices. Presence informs experience. December 21st serves as the quiet turning point that made this integration possible, anchoring growth into something sustainable and real. As everything initiated by December 21st comes into fuller expression, the chosen one reaches a stage of quiet embodiment where nothing needs to be announced or proven. There is a sense of arrival, not at a destination, but into a way of being. Life does not suddenly become free of challenge, yet challenges no longer threaten identity or direction. December 21st ultimately reveals that stability comes not from certainty, but from self-trust. In this final phase, the Chosen One understands that awareness is not something to chase or maintain through constant effort. It is something lived through presence. There is less internal commentary, less need to analyze every experience. Moments are met as they are. December 21st closes the cycle of seeking and opens the cycle of living. A deep sense of coherence settles in. Thoughts, actions, and values move together naturally. When misalignment appears, it is recognized quickly and corrected gently. There is no spiral of self-criticism, only adjustment. The Chosen One understands that alignment is dynamic, not rigid. December 21st teaches flexibility rooted in truth. This phase is marked by calm authority, not dominance, not control, but a steady confidence that comes from knowing oneself. Decisions are made with clarity and carried out without hesitation. Even when outcomes are uncertain, direction is not. December 21st strengthens this inner compass, making it reliable even in unfamiliar terrain. This inner compass does not demand attention or validation. It simply guides each step at the moment it is needed.